Okay, now let's see. A cyclist and a lorry are both stopped at red lights. The cyclist can accelerate at 5 meters per second squared and has a top speed of 10. The lorry can accelerate at 2. So what's happening here? This is the velocity in meters per second, and this is the time in seconds of the cyclist, and this is it of the lorry. Time in seconds, velocity in meters per second. So the cyclist can accelerate at 5 but reaches a top speed of 10. So flat lines here. The lorry can keep accelerating at a lower acceleration but no top speed of 2. This here, if the slope, the gradient is 5, that means for 1 unit out it rises by 5 units. So if the height is 10, then this must have been 2. Go out 2 units, rise 10. So we imagine the cyclist and the lorry have met after t seconds, t here at the end. So that means if they coincide in space at this time, they've each traveled the same distance, they're at the same position, the same displacement. So on the graphs it means these areas must be the same. And this comparison only makes sense if t is greater than 2 seconds, because we're putting the cyclist somewhere here. So the distance traveled by the cyclist, this area here, half the base by the height, so that's 5 meters, plus, and then the base by the height, t minus 2 times 10, and that's a half the base, which is a half t, by the height, which is 2t, because for every 1 unit out, it's 2 units up. Well, that's nice because they cancel as well. So that's t squared, 5 plus 10t minus 20. So that will be t squared minus 10t minus 5 minus 20 is minus 15 when we take it to the right, plus 15. Do we have factors here? It doesn't look like it. 15 and 1, no good. 5 and 3, no good. So we'll need the quadratic formula. T equals minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, which is just 2 here. So that will be 10 plus or minus root 40 over 2. Let's see, 40 is 4 times 10. So that'd be 10 plus or minus 2 root 10 over 2, which will be 5 plus or minus root 10. So the first answer would be 5 minus root 10. Which is 1.83 seconds, which doesn't make sense because we needed t to be greater than 2. So it must be 5 plus square root 10. Which is 8.16 seconds. So the time would be 8.16 seconds. And then the distance traveled, so we'll use the second triangle to get the distance because that would be easiest. It's a half the base by the height. So, but actually we just worked it out here. It's t squared. So just square this. 66.62. So the distance traveled is 66.62 meters, and that's our 2 answers there. After how long and how far?